Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of The Awesome with C.O.D.Y. As usual, I'm your host, C.O.D.Y, and today we are starting a brand new theme for November of 2020, and that is pulp action movies. So, basically what these are all movies that are based on pulp-ish stuff, but they're also just kind of more of tongue-in-cheek-ish action movies. So, the movies I've picked. So today, the first up will be The Phantom from 1996, which I'll obviously go into more in a minute. Next week will be The Shadow. The week after that will be Big Trouble in Little China. And then week 4 is The Spirit. So tune in for more pulp action fun. So today, The Phantom. The Phantom is a movie based on a comic strip by the same name, The Phantom, written by Lee Fox. I'm not too sure how to say his name. Falk. It might be Falk. Anyhow, he made a lot of different things. Back in the day, Mandrake the Magician, The Phantom, was probably his most popular one. He worked in theater. I was trying to find the thing for it, where he worked with a bunch of different people. But he produced like 300 plays and directed like 100 of them. He wrote 12 plays. Worked with Marlon Brando, Charlton Heston, Celeste Holmes, Constance Moore, a ton of actors and actresses from way back when, and done not a lot of stuff, but most notably, I would say probably his biggest contribution to pop culture would be The Phantom, and a little bit of Mandrake the Magician, but probably not nearly as much as The Phantom, because The Phantom is pretty goddamn popular. It ran, or it was originally released on February 17th of 1936, and was in newspapers, and then later on in magazines and comic books and all sorts of things from there, and has crossed over into a lot of other media or other things, other comic strips and other comic books and things like that, and of course, movies. And things like that. But yeah, it's a pretty good, pretty cool story, which I'll go in a little bit about with that in a minute here. So the movie itself was directed by Simon Winker. We talked a little bit about him, not so much directly, but because of the stuff he worked on. The biggest thing for him, for him at least, was he directed movies like Daryl, which is Daryl with the periods in the middle of the acronym. We're not here talking about that, but Daryl's a fun movie. I might do that one if I do like War Games, and probably Cloak and Dagger would be a good one to do along with those ones. But yeah, anyways, Daryl is a movie. It's data analyzing robot youth life form, but we'll go into that another day. He also directed Quickly Down Under, Harley Davidson, The Marlboro Man, Free Willy, Lightning Jack, which is funny because it had Paul Hogan in it, and then he later worked with Paul Hogan on Crocodile Dundee in Los Angeles. He also directed Operation Dumbo Drop, of course, The Phantom. And then he did the Young Black Stallion in 2003 for Walt Disney, and then produced a bunch of, I wouldn't say he wrote, but also was like executive produced or something, a bunch of shit. I don't know what it all was, but anyways, he's done a bunch of television programs. Nothing really, I guess there's nothing real big that I can see on here. I didn't notice anything Nope, nothing big. Cool. But yeah, so that's Simon Wincer, writer of the movie itself is a gentleman we did talk about, whose name is Jeffrey Baum. He wrote, the last time we talked about him, he wrote Lost Boys, which is based on a story by Janice Fisher and James Jeremias, which is the reason I thought of doing this. If you tuned into the episode I talked about Lost Boys, it's where I got the idea to do these movies this week or this month, because of he wrote The Phantom, as well as The Dead Zone, Inner Space, and Funny Farm, and Indiana Jones: Last Crusade, Lethal Weapon 2 and 3. The Witches of Eastwick, Adventures of Briscoe County Jr., and then, of course, Tales from the Crypt, episode number 61, Creep Course. But yeah, that's Jeffrey Baum. So starring in the movie, we have Billy Zane as Kit Walker / Phantom. We have Treat Williams as Xander Drax. We have Kirsty Swanson as Diana Palmer. Catherine Zeta-Jones as Sala. James Remire as Quill, and Patrick McGoonan as Mr. Walker, the 20th Phantom. So Billy Zane, larger-than-life dude. He's been in several things. He was a background character in Back to the Future and Back to the Future 2. He was in Dead Calm, Memphis Belle, fantastic war movie, by the way. He was in the television series Twin Peaks. He's been in Tombstone. I talked about him because he was in, not on this show. Actually, I think we talked about it on the other podcast too. He was in Demon Knight, which is one of the Tales from the Crypt movies. But his career is pretty long. He's got a lot of movies under his belt, and a few television programs. A lot of his movies, not the most high caliber of movies. By far, he makes a lot of stuff that's not great. Hit or miss the best, you could say. But, Billy Zane, man, he's been in a lot of things. Can't stop him. He does work. Sometimes 4, 5, 6 movies a year. Most of them you've never heard of, but he was in Sniper and Posse and Poetic Justice and Tombstone and Betrayal of the Dove, all in 1 year, 1993. So, he was in Titanic. Y'all remember Titanic, right? Exactly, he was in Titanic. But a lot of other real garbage movies, too. But that's not what we're here about. We're here to talk about Phantom. And then Treat Williams, like I said, plays Xander Drax. Treat has been in a lot of different things, most notably film-wise. Let's see. Mulholland Falls, The Devil's Own, Deep Rising. He's in Vertical Limits. Not a great one, but a fun one. He was in Miss Congeniality 2. He's been in a lot of different things. Television-wise, he had a recurring role in Blue Bloods most recently. He was in a couple episodes of Hawaii Five-0. He was on White Collar in an episode. The Simpsons, where he played himself, and William Sullivan. He's been in a lot of different one-off episodes and TV movies. But yeah, Treat Williams has done a lot of things. I can't think of what's his most. He was in the television show Everwood. You guys ever watch that show? I don't know why I didn't think of Everwood being. He was in like a shit ton of that, right? Like, he was in every episode of that, wasn't he? Everwood. Seasons 1 through 4. Yeah, he was in every episode of that show. And there was a bunch of those episodes. 89 episodes. Look at that. That's a lot of TV. Anyways, Treat Williams has been in a lot of different things. Oh, he was in 127 Hours with James Franco when James Franco had to cut his arm off. Forgot about that. He's been. I mean, like I said, he's been in a ton of stuff. A lot of good movies, more so than some other people I mentioned on this list already. Next up is Christy Swanson, who plays Diana Palmer, the love interest of our hero, the Phantom. Christy Swanson's been in a ton of stuff. Obviously, her earlier career is really where she kind of, I would say, was most popular. Well, I didn't say most popular. She's done a lot of different things, but I think. Well, I mean, to me, the biggest role she ever had was probably the Buffy the Vampire Slayer movie, the original one from 1992, with Luke Perry. Hilary Swank is in it. Donald Sutherland, Paul Rubens, Rutger Hauer. He plays the main vampire in it. It's a dope ass movie. You guys should learn about that. That's a fun one too. Maybe one day I'll do one of those. But she's Buffy in that. It's pretty awesome. She was in one of my least favorite sequels to a movie I dearly love, even though I do like the second one, but it's nothing compared to the first one, which is Mannequin 2, On the Move. She plays Jessie, the mannequin. But yeah, I mean, she was in Pretty in Pink, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Flowers in the Attic, The Program. Remember The Program? Like how crazy. Do you guys remember The Program? Look up the movie The Program from 1993 and the backlash that movie had and like the stupid shit people did. That if you watch that movie, you should know you shouldn't do. Like if that movie came out nowadays, those people would be fucking like so in trouble because it would start trends that nobody wants a trend to be like that because it would be like all over social media. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, just look it up. 1993's The Program. Oh my God. Yeah, that should be fucking madness now. Anyways. She was in The Chase with Charlie Sheen, where he held her captive with a Snickers bar. Higher Learning, 8 Heads in a Duffel Bag, which is a fucking fantastic movie. She was in Big Daddy as Vanessa, the chick that left Adam Sandler's character for the old guy, Sid, with his old balls. A lot of stuff. I mean, she's been in a bunch of different movies. Television-wise, she was on Knots Landing. She was a main character in one of Joe's favorite TV shows called Early Edition, where the dude got the newspaper from like days ahead, and so he could like help stop things or prevent stuff from happening. I can't remember. I don't think I ever really watched it, but Joe loved that show. A lot of TV movies on like Lifetime and shit. All over those ones. She was in Dude, Where's My Car, which is one of my favorite things, and she was Christy Boner in that one. It's hilarious. But yeah, it's Christy Swanson. Next up is Catherine Zeta-Jones. We all know who Catherine Zeta-Jones is. She's married to Michael Douglas, but she was in Entrapment with the late great Sean Connery, Mask of Zorro. She was in the worst Oceans movie, Oceans 12. I say that I haven't seen Oceans 8, I think is what it's called, so I don't know if that's actually worse than Oceans 12, but Oceans 12 is the worst of the Danny Ocean movies. Been a lot of different stuff. I mean, Entrapment's probably everyone's favorite Catherine Zeta-Jones movie to always talk about because of the laser dodging scene, even made fun of in Jane Silent Bob Strike Back. She didn't set off the audio detector with a fart like they did in that movie, but she did do the limber moving around lasers thing with Sean Connery. But yeah, she's been in a lot of different things. She was in Chicago. I forgot about that one. The Terminal. a lot of different things. She's Catherine Zeta-Jones. You know who that is. Next up is James Raymer, or I think it's how you say his Raymer. He's been in a bunch of stuff too. 48 Hours, Miracle on 34th Street, Sex and the City. He played Henry Morgan on Dexter for many a year. Maybe even making I doubt he can make a reprisal role because he was like way too old to be that guy from back then. But he was in The Warriors. He was in Warriors back in the day, 1979. If you don't remember that, it's based on a book of the same name. Let's see. I can't remember what was the name of. Where's that? Hold on, film. I forgot the name of that movie. Is it The Quest? Came out the same year? Yeah, with Jean-Claude Van Damme. The Quest. Not Vision Quest. The Quest. You need to look that movie up. The movie's fucking bomb. But I getting off tangent. And he's been in a lot of stuff. I mean, so many different things. I'm not even go through the whole thing. Pineapple Express. He was in Pineapple Express. You guys remember that movie? Love that movie. He was in that New the Saint movie or TV program. Is it a movie? Yeah, it's a movie. I want to say it was the remake, but I don't know if it was any good. I doubt it. And then TV-wise, he was in The Huntress. Like I said, he was in Dexter. He was on a couple episodes of Battlestar Galactica. Did some voice acting work on like the Justice League stuff. 1 and 2 episodes of things like Criminal Minds, The Unit, Numbers, Flash Forward, Vampire Diaries, Human Target. That was a really good show too. I like that show a lot. Hawaii Five-0. Yeah. Anyways, it's James Raymer. And then last is, but not least, I should say, Patrick McGoohan. I don't know how to say his name. But he plays the 20th Phantom and Mr. Walker, who is I think they explained him as his great-grandfather of Kit Walker. I think. I can't remember what it is. I should have. I watched this movie, so I should know what it is. Doesn't matter. So the Phantom, for the folks who aren't initiated by what it is an action adventure movie, superhero movie, technically, starring Billy Zane as the titular character, Phantom, or the Phantom. And he is, it's set in the early 16th century. Basically, he is the guardian of this island, and there's a secret on this island, a power that is bestowed upon the person who finds these 3 skulls and puts them together and release a power of some sort that would make them immortal, if I'm not mistaken, is what it is. Super powerful, whatever it happens to be. So he's the guardian of this, and he basically something happens where an artifact is stolen. He must travel to New York and retrieve the skull and stop the Drax from getting all of them with the help of his henchmen. And chaos ensues. A man in a purple leotard starts wreaking havoc all over New York and jumping on roofs of cars and riding a horse down the street. And there's a pretty cool pirate ship scene at the end where he's inside this cave and there's a pirate ship, and you have to watch it for yourself. It's pretty fun. I would say it's not a very serious movie. I know that. All these movies have, again, a tongue-in-cheek kind of element to them, but they're based on pulp stuff, so it's not really so set in reality. things like that. Imagine it's kind of like Indiana Jones without the seriousness. It's more outlandish than Indiana Jones. And if you know the movie Sin City, imagine that kind of world where it's a little more outlandish and cartoony in its approach and things like that. That's exactly what The Phantom is. It's not meant to be high art or Oscar worthy. It's just a fun time. And I don't want to ruin the whole story for you, but I kind of just told you the whole thing. But you should check it out. It's real fun. Not the best action scenes, but not the worst action scenes. Some pretty cool shit in it. The worst part is the outfit, but it's hard to reproduce something from pen and paper on screen because, physical demands of a human being are different than what you can when you draw whatever you want. But it's still a fun movie. You should check it out. It's good for kids. There's not like a lot of blood or anything in it. There's some violence in it and some death. So if you want to show it to your kids or if you're offended by that stuff, don't. It's not that bad. But yeah, that's about it for this week's episode of the Awesome with Cody. And again, I have been your host, Cody. And like I always say at the end of these episodes, let's be awesome.